Amazon didn't cancel the new Stargate show because they thought it was bad. They canceled it because they were afraid it would only be loved by the people who already love Stargate. Let that sink in. The reason for killing it was us. So, just a couple of facts so we're all on the same page. In November 2025, Amazon MGM announced a new Stargate series, and the showrunners for this show would be people from the original series, from Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and by doing so they gave us this confidence-ish that this would be something faithful to the original. Yesterday, or whenever you're watching it, June 2026, they canceled it after it was only in the writing process. No production was made, no frame from this show was ever shared. I don't think any filming has taken place yet. Nothing. Just after a round of writing, and some exec in some office decided to write it off and axe it because they thought it wouldn't have the broad appeal that they're looking for. Here's the thing I keep coming back to. Whenever a Stargate show has ended, we were already in the room. Stargate SG-1 ended after 10 seasons. Stargate Atlantis ended after 5. Stargate Universe was cut short, but it was ended after 2 seasons. And sure, we argued about it, we loved it, and we were mad at it. And we had a lot of time to think about its continuation, if that ever happened. This time they didn't even let us be in the room. The reported reason, and I'm quoting the gist of it, was that the execs worried Jarrah's version wouldn't have broad appeal beyond the franchise's already dedicated fan base. Think about what that means. They had a creator who respected the source material. Jarrah literally said he wasn't there to undo what came before. And that faithfulness is apparently what scared them. Because here's the trap with chasing everyone, okay? When you create something that everyone should love, that it should have a broad appeal, you don't really make anyone feel anything watching it because you're so safe. You don't take any risks, you don't really have any storyline that you lean hard into because it might offend anyone, and then you end up with a show that nobody likes. That is usually what broad appeal becomes. They were so afraid to make it for us, the core fans, that they made it for nobody. So let me talk a little bit about this narrow fan base they were so worried about. We are still here. 16 years after the last series aired, people are still creating videos about Stargate, buying the discs because we don't trust streaming services to actually represent the show correctly. I've already watched on a few streaming services that cut parts away from episodes that I remember differently, so this should be more faithful to the show. And people are still making videos, podcasts, art, writing new theories after the shows have already ended. And I'll be honest with you, when the series was first announced, I started a full rewatch all the way from SG-1, and I thought I would write about each episode either in my blog or make a short video because I wanted to share my love of Stargate. In a way, I let myself hope. That's not a dead franchise. That's a dedicated fan base that waited patiently for almost 30 years and still kept showing up. And Amazon looked at all that loyalty and saw a ceiling instead of a foundation. Now, when looking at Stargate, it's not just about the nostalgia. There are stories we've been carrying for decades that this show could have finally paid off. First one is Eli, left alone and awake on the Destiny while everyone went into stasis. He had a problem he hadn't resolved yet, and we had no promise that he would survive. We never found out if he made it. We're still waiting to discover what happened to him. Second is the Pegasus Galaxy. We left the Pegasus Galaxy in the final fight of Stargate Atlantis, and now Atlantis is sitting on Earth, somewhere near San Francisco. And what happened with the Wraith? What happened with the people from that galaxy that we left behind? We had some relationship building, and now it's all just gone in a flash. Like, what happened? And third is Teyla and Ronan, which we left on Pegasus when we left it. What happened to them? They were inseparable companions in our journey in Atlantis, and now they're just left behind and we don't know what happened to them. To Amazon, those are loose ends for a narrow audience. To us, they're promises. And here's the part that nobody wants to talk about and makes me genuinely sad, because it's been 20 years, almost 20 years, and these actors are getting older. It's going to be difficult to weave someone into the story back when so much time has passed and they are genuinely changed from how they looked 20 years ago. And some people die, and we're missing the chance to revisit their characters with the original actor instead of replacing them with someone else. Can you imagine John Shepherd with anyone but Joe Flanagan? Can you imagine Jack O'Neill with anyone but RDA? And I don't think anyone in the community is actually expecting any of these characters from 20 years ago to actually take center stage and become a main cast member, someone in the new SG1 or whatever it was going to be, and, you know, be there every episode. We all expected the show to have some sort of revival, in the way that there would probably be a new team, a new SG1 or a new squad or whatever we call it. And these original characters would probably be recurring characters. This show could have been a passing of the torch. Well, there's still a torch to pass. Now, the kicker is that Martin Jarrow, who was supposed to be the showrunner of this show, is reportedly under contract with Amazon to still work for them, even though this show is cancelled. He's going to work on something else. They are going to look for someone else who doesn't have any ties to the show to make that show, lose all of its soul because it's going to be something else entirely than the faithful representation we're looking for. Nobody would like it. And they're not going to let this go. They're just sitting on it. They're not doing it a service by shelving it for now. So, what do we do? I'll tell you what I did, and you can decide for yourself. I canceled my Prime membership. I canceled my Audible. I canceled another Amazon-related subscription around storage or something. I am not going to buy anything from Amazon while this betrayal is still happening. Why am I doing this? That's the only vote I have. I'm not naive. I know that one person can't really affect a $8.5 billion company. But I'm not alone. We are still here. And aside from being here and making our voices hurt where it hurts in their wallet, we can still write. We can still bombard them with customer service messages. We can still tag them online on social media with our videos and our posts and tell them, hey, this is not okay. We waited a long time for this. And you can see this is already happening. You can watch Twitter threads, you can watch threads, and probably any comments under any video posted about this, about what's happening right now. I wrote an open letter and tagged them on Twitter, and I'm going to do it on my blog and Medium. That's the only thing I can do. I can only make my voice heard. And Amazon, if you're listening, you told a community that's been faithful for 30 years that our loyalty isn't worth a single season. One season. 10 episodes, 8, 9. That's the length we're working with these days, right? You told us we were not worth even that. We were ready. We were watching. And we're still here. The gate is open. You chose to walk away from it. If this hit you the same way it hit me, like it, share it. Tell me in the comments which storyline you wanted to resolve the most. Mine's Eli. I'll see you in the next one.